Thank you for tuning in to the Doing Business with God podcast.
Hey, you. Yes, you. I am your host, Michi Renee.
It is Michi's passion to help you live your best life and do business God's way. Michi will be talking about entrepreneurship, manifestation, monetization, mindset, beliefs, starting and growing a business, nonprofit, or ministry, all while serving God. So welcome to My Daddy's Business. It's time for the show. It's the Doing Business with God podcast with your host, Michi Renee.
Hello, tribe. Welcome back to another episode of the Doing Business with God podcast, dedicated to helping you do business God's way. In this episode, I will be talking about what every entrepreneur should know about starting a business, nonprofit, ministry, whatever it is that you are trying to do to be in alignment and in flow with whatever it is that God has called you to do. So this is all from personal experience, from clients that I've worked with in the past, for things that I have seen written and heard and all of that jazz. So what I have for you today, point number 1, you want to #treat it like a business. So what I mean by that is, even if you're running a nonprofit, if you're running a for-profit, if you're running a ministry, you have to treat it like a business. And the basis at every business level, whether you're starting out or you're a corporation, is you need a legal structure. Whether you're an LLC, a corporation, and if you have an S designation, whatever it is, you need a legal structure. You know, some of you may be sole proprietors. I don't suggest that based on and due to the tax implications, but you definitely need to have some type of legal structure. So that means that you're going to have to incorporate in your state. Even if you're a sole proprietor and you do a DBA, a doing business as, you need to have a legal structure. Once you have your legal structure, you need to get an EIN, employer identification number. So that identifies your business with the IRS, that you're in legal standing, that you're operating like a business. And when you do that, when you're operating like a legal business, then you can take deductions and tax credits and things like a legal business. I am not a tax professional. I am not going to sit here and tell you about all the deductions. You need to contact a tax professional. As I always say, there are 3 things that you need to have in your business. That is a business coach. Second thing is you need to have your accounting, bookkeeping type person. And 3 is your legal, tax, that kind of person. Those are the people that you need to have on payroll, on retainer, part of your annual budget every single year. Those type persons you need to have. Again, bookkeeping, accounting, tax, legal, and your coach. Some of those will go together and it will be, the same person provides multiple type services, but you need to have those ready and available for you. So once you've gotten your legal structure, you have your EIN, then you need to have a separate bank account from your personal finances. So seek out a different bank than your personal so that you are building additional banking relationships. You never know when you may need a bank for a loan or whatever it is that you're trying to create. What you're trying to do and what you're trying to create is a business, not a hobby. So a business has a legal structure. A business is able to take advantage of credits. A legal business is able to take advantage of some things that you're just not able to do on a personal level. Once you have set all of that up,
we hope that you are enjoying this episode. If you would like to be a guest, check the show notes for all the details. Let's get back to the Doing Business with God podcast with Michi Renee.
You also need insurance. So a general liability policy. What I'm talking is not very expensive, maybe $30 or $40 a month for your insurance, depending on your state, anywhere from $200 to $300 to incorporate or form an LLC or whatever your legal structure is going to be. There is no cost for your EIN number. And depending on what bank you have, there are some banks that do not charge monthly fees, but it's just going to depend on your revenue, what you're generating, how much you're using the account, how you're using it, and what you're using it for. So once you get all of that set up, your first order of business is to hire yourself as an employee. So what that does is when you're able to hire yourself as an employee, now you're able to set up a 401k. That's part of it has tax write-offs. You're able to set up the company match, which again, that bring down your personal liability for taxes. You're able to set up benefits and have benefits available for yourself, all of those things like that. If you have employees, you would hire them. If you have contractors, you would have all of that set up. Basically, what you want to do is operate like a business. God forbid if something happened and somebody wanted to sue you, if you were not set up like a business, they could sue you personally and you would be personally liable. When you set up your LLC or your corporation or whatever it is in your area or your country, because I do know that I have people that are across 15, 20 different countries represented. So I'm not exactly sure what you call it in your country. I'm speaking for the US. This is the things that we call it here. So whatever this equates to in your area, set it up so that you're not personally liable. Because what happens is when you sign contracts, you're signing contracts under the name of your business. For me, that's Unicorn Tribe LLC, not me, Michi Renee, personally, but my company. And so what that does is protects you if something were to happen. If the company had to go out of business or file bankruptcy or whatever, you're not personally liable. So you are an employee of the business. Even though you own the business, you're still an employee, you're still entitled to benefits, you're still entitled to pay, and you want to pay yourself as such. I am going to link in the show notes some different resources if you need to pay people through payroll and your contractors and different things like that. Some CRMs if you need those kinds of things. I will link some different resources in the show notes for you. So we've talked about your legal structure. We've talked about your EIN, your bank account. We've talked about the people that you need to have on your payroll. We've talked about your insurance. We've talked about hiring yourself as an employee. So that is the legal structure of how to get your business started. And I realize that some of you have probably been in business 3, 4, 5, 10 years, and you have not